Tonight on Monday Night Matchup, will Eric Dickerson and the Rams continue their winning ways against the other team from Los Angeles, the Raiders? Or will Marcus Allen rush for 100 yards for a record-tying 9th straight game and lead the Raiders to their 6th straight win? Let's talk football tonight on Monday Night Matchup.
Monday Night Matchup is brought to you by...
Week number 16 of Monday Night Matchup. Tonight, a city battle of Los Angeles between the Los Angeles Raiders at the Los Angeles Rams, the game to be played in the shadow of Disneyland. With me, as always, Steve Sable and Allie Sherman. Allie, I guess a little more than just civic pride on the line tonight.
Oh, even though both these teams have won their division, this game has long-range importance. And the reason is a what-if basis. What if these guys meet in the Super Bowl? Huh? Okay, if the Rams don't establish a passing game tonight and get the pressure off of Dickerson's running game, then in the next meeting, Dickerson can stay home and go to lunch. The Raiders will stuff it. The Raiders, on the other hand, are the experts in psychological intimidation. Each man beats up on the guy opposite him, physically and mentally, creating mental stress, physical stress, and they want him to remember, hey, don't forget. And that's called one leg up in the Super Bowl before the kickoff.
Well, that's a good description of the Raiders, but what about the Rams? They're a little harder to put your finger on. The Rams are a team of gritty overachievers, and they're a dramatic illustration of what is meant by the whole being greater than the sum of the parts. However, make the game strictly kickoffs and punts, and the Rams would probably be in the Super Bowl. Their special teams are spectacular. Henry Ellard leads the league in punt returns, and Ron Brown leads the league in kickoff returns.
Steve, a lot of things special about both the Rams and the Raiders this year, but that may not apply to the quarterback position. We'll take a closer look when Monday Night Matchup continues. More in common than just the city they play in. They both have good, solid defenses, and they both have a big play running back, Marcus Allen and Eric Dickerson. They also both have question marks at quarterback. In the case of each of LA's football teams, division championships were probably earned in spite of their quarterback rather than because of them. Dieter Brock of the Rams came down from Canada with the reputation of being a mad bomber, and it's taken most of the season for the Ram coaches to give Brock free rein with what is primarily a run-oriented offense.
You know, they ought to give Dieter a lot more practice because you're going to see him make moves here. I didn't know he had. Nobody knows he had. And he has to do that so he and his receivers can get the feel of each other in these pressure games. You can't do that in practice.
Allie, Brock has gone mostly to his wideouts during the season, but he's been throwing much better of late because now he's mixing up his plays with passes to his backs and tight ends like Tony Hunter, number 87. So while Brock's goal is to continue looking for such targets, his Raiders counterpart, Mark Wilson, would probably be better off relying a bit less on his tight end, Todd Christensen, number 46.
Wilson has 10 victories in 12 starts, Chris, but his personal statistics are terrible. He has the highest interception rate and the lowest completion percentage in the NFL.
Steve, his mechanics are bad. He throws off that back foot, and that keeps him from having a real good feel of the ball when it leaves his hand.
No wonder Wilson's only a 48% passer, Allie, and he sometimes launches deep bombs so high that guys like Dokie Williams, number 85, should probably signal for a fair catch first. Any success Wilson achieves often comes by what his pass targets do after the catch. Here, Jesse Hester, number 84, makes something out of nothing. A lot of people think that if Wilson slips up too badly, he could be yanked for veteran Jim Plunkett. And pronto.
The Raiders are a true Super Bowl contender, and they've done it lacking one very important element, a consistent quarterback. This season, they've won on the strength of a dominating defense and a one-man running game in Marcus Allen. They've proven the old NFL formula. You can win with an outstanding defense and a limited offense. However, with an outstanding offense and a limited defense, no way. San Diego Chargers are perfect proof of that. Tonight, you're going to see a team out there whereby adversity in the quarterback spot strengthened that Raider defense to what it used to be 2 years ago, Steve.
Allie, the Raiders have really rolled back the clock, and they're playing old-fashioned grunt and grind football, but their ability to make the big play is still a major reason for their success. And, you know, Allie, I think big plays are often misinterpreted. They don't have to be a 50-yarder. As a matter of fact, a 3rd and 3 is a big play, or a 3rd and goal is a big play. And these are situations when the Raiders like to use Marcus Allen. And because he succeeded on most of these big plays, the Raiders are in the playoffs.
Well, the defense has succeeded many times on big plays, too, for the Raiders. We'll take a look at that unit. And that matchup continues. Of which they're very proud. Commitment to excellence. And there's no question that since the mid-'60s, they've lived up to it. And, Ali, I guess it's not hard being a perennial playoff contender when you always have a good defense.
They've attained what everybody strives for on defense, a combination of physically superior players and using tactics to maximize those skills. For instance, in tactics, 3- and 4-man alignments that allow Howie Long and Bill Pickell to be in different spots on that defensive line, creating great mental and physical stress on that offense. Let's take a look at that Raider defense and its execution right now.
Here you see the Raiders in their basic 3-4 defense. Feature players in this alignment: Howie Long, number 75, at left defensive end, and Bill Pickell, number 71, at nose guard. To stop a strong running game, the Raiders believe in having their 5 key linemen and linebackers charge aggressively in their defensive lanes to provide a solid wall with no holes. As you see here, there is no gap for the back to run through, and it is this stuff tactic that the Raiders have used to shut down great runners like John Riggins in the past, and will use tonight to match up against a great Dickerson who spearheads the Ram offense. To increase the physical and mental pressure on offenses, the Raiders also use 4 men on the line, with Long and Pickell positioned in different spots to make variety the spice of life for the offensive linemen. Here, Long has moved to nose guard, confronting the center, and Pickell is in the tackle position, challenging that guard. On this play, Long and Pickell won't make the tackle, but their position change and their powerful stuffing tactic disrupts offensive blocking to allow their teammates, in this case, defensive end Sean Jones, number 99, to make the tackle. Long and Pickell can and do play any position on that defensive line. The result, tremendous strain on offensive linemen, particularly the center, who doesn't know whose style he will have to match on each down. Here, Long is positioned over Broncos center Billy Bryan, one of the best in the league. At the snap of the ball, you see Long make a strong move to the right of Bryan, number 64, and then he will use his power and his agility to throw and go to the quarterback, pressuring John Elway into throwing an interception. If Long is effective in defeating Rams center Tony Slayton tonight, the Rams will have to use 2 men to minimize him. And if they do, watch Bill Pickell swing his man and destroy. You've just seen that Raider defense stop other offenses with their outstanding players and different alignments. Let's see what the Rams have to do tonight to match up with this. Here we are. The Raider bump and run defense. The cornerbacks right up on the line of scrimmage opposite the wide receivers, and 2 outstanding defensive linemen in Howie Long over the center and Bill Pickell at tackle. This gives them as many as 9 men to stop Dickerson's running game. What do they have to do? Dieter Brock uses Dickerson as a running fake, running action right here, which pulls that whole defense, believing run. Brock then can come back here and hit a receiver coming across that vacated area. That's one way to go. Another way, how does he handle this thing? Dieter Brock must throw quick, short passes. And he just drops back 3 yards, bang, right in here, uses the pressure of a wide receiver like Elliott or Brown to force that cornerback back and break right in here for the quick slant pass. Look at that tonight. Quick slant in here, quick slant in here. It's so simple, it works. Let's see how it worked last week. To create pressure on the Raider defense, the Rams must use Dickerson's constant running threat by faking to him with play action and then passing. Here you'll see guard Kent Hill and tackle Irv Pankey pull to the right, as they always do, to lead Dickerson on the Rams' strongest running play. This realistic running action influences the defense to react to the movement of the pulling lineman and Dickerson, allowing quarterback Dieter Brock to roll slightly to his left, while tight end David Hill, number 81, works off the reaction of the defense and gets into an open passing plane for Brock's delivery. Play action is one way to pressure and minimize the Raiders' strong pass rush and defense. In the last 2 games, the Rams have opened up their offense and used their passing game more to counteract defenses designed to minimize Dickerson's running. Another way they have found to increase Brock's passing efficiency is to have him take a quick 3-yard drop and throw short, slant-in passes to his deep threat receivers, Brown and Ellard. Their speed pressures defensive backs to give ground quicker and deeper. And at the same time, the Ram pass blockers enjoy the advantage of having to control their men for a shorter period of time, thus eliminating sacks and ensuring maximum delivery of that pass. Tonight, the Rams must use play action and these quick short strikes to speed merchants Ellard and Brown to best match the Raiders' pass defense.
Allie, I think Brock should not only take a short drop, but I also think he should throw on first down because that's when the Raiders are most vulnerable to the pass. On first down, the Raiders usually play a 3-4 defense that's keyed to stop the run. Then on passing situations, 3 of their 4 big linebackers are replaced by faster, leaner men who are better equipped to stop the pass. The Raiders have the stingiest rushing defense in the NFL. And it just seems to me that to run against that defense on first down, when it's loaded up to stop the run, would be senseless. I think short passes over the middle on first down would work against the Raiders tonight.
I think that along with you. However, I do believe tonight that the Raiders are going to challenge Dieter Brock, fellas, to throw long, because they want to use that bump-and-run defense of theirs, in which the cornerbacks in bump-and-run are right up there on the line of scrimmage in front of the wide receivers, Ellard and Brown. And this gives them, with linebackers and those 2 babies, as many as 9 men sometimes to take care of Eric Dickerson's running game. And if they do that, and then you say, well, he's going to go to Brown and Ellard deep then. Everybody's up there. That's right. But the Raiders believe that if they're open on 4 passes, Ellard and Brown are open on 4 passes, Dieter Brock may only complete 1 because he's been inaccurate up to now with that. And another thing, the kicker, if he wants to throw long, he's in that pocket longer for those very hungry 4-man defensive rush linemen to get him.
Allie, on the other side of the ball, the Rams defense knows exactly what it has to do, and that's stop number 32, Marcus Allen. We'll take a look at that matchup right after this. Chicago set a new NFL record by rushing for over 100 yards in 9 straight games. But tonight, Steve, if Marcus Allen gets 100 yards against the Rams, he'll tie Peyton's record of 9 straight games.
Allen's having his finest year, Chris, and he's changed the complexion of the Raiders' offense, which, through necessity, is now geared to the run. In 5 of their last 6 games, the Raiders have run the ball more than they've passed.
Forget vertical passing and go deep, baby. Now the Raiders have a ball control offense that's centered around Marcus Allen, number 32, who's the most prolific running back the Raiders have ever had. Allen is averaging 26 carries a game, and many of those runs follow the lead block of fullback Frank Hawkins, number 27. It's Hawkins' block at the point of attack that generally pries the hole open and gives Allen what little daylight he needs. Marcus Allen is having his finest season ever, and one of the big reasons why has been the blocking of his fullback, Frank Hawkins, who's capable of handling the larger inside linebackers by himself. All Hawkins has to do is shield the linebacker to one side or the other, because Allen's cutting ability does the rest. Tonight, Hawkins will frequently be matched up against the Rams' 2 inside linebackers, Jim Collins, number 50, and Carl Eckern, number 55. Both are good run stoppers. A week ago against St. Louis, Eckern, number 55, showed the ability to stalemate the block of the Cardinal fullback and then make the play. Eckern is one of the Rams' most dependable tacklers, and for the second straight year, number 55 is second only to Jim Collins in tackles. But if a fullback can occupy and seal him to the outside, a running back can cut off this block and gain good yardage against the Rams' defense. Tonight, look for the matchup of Frank Hawkins against the Rams' inside linebackers. It will be important, especially near the goal line, where Marcus Allen can leap over the line of scrimmage for a touchdown. Allen's a master at this, but even here, he needs the help of Frank Hawkins, whose responsibility is to block the first linebacker who appears above the line. This prevents Allen from being pushed back when he sails over the top. Near the goal line, Allen seems to defy gravity, but without this crucial block by Frank Hawkins, number 27, it doesn't matter how high Allen leaps, because the inside linebacker can jump to create a midair collision that will send the Raiders' touchdown dreams crashing to earth. Earlier this season, the Raiders were stopped on the goal line by the Bengals. And on another goal line play earlier this year, the Rams beat the Vikings on the last play of the game by sending their inside linebackers, Eckern and Collins, over the top to stop the runner. Tonight, in goal line situations, look for some mid-air collisions, because they could mean the difference in the game.
I believe that tonight the Rams are going to play to their full defensive strength, team and swarming defense, to stuff Marcus Allen's running game and play real tight and hard on Todd Christensen, the tight end. What they want to be able to say to the Raiders is, hey, you've got to try to win with Mark Wilson and the long passing game to your wide receivers, something that he hasn't done very well at all, if ever. And that's the key matchup tonight, I believe, for the Rams defense, Steve.
Allie, one aspect of the Ram defense that's been underestimated this year has been their pass rush. They have 55 sacks, and that's only 4 less than the Raiders. Now, Bruce Davis and Henry Lawrence, the Raiders' offensive tackles, are both having below-average seasons, and they can be beaten with a wide outside pass rush, and that happens to be the specialty of the Rams' defensive end, Gary Jeter. So that's a matchup that could go in the Rams' favor, Jeter versus the Raiders' offensive tackles.
Did I hear you mention favors, Steve? Who do we favor? I'm going to go out on a limb right now. I like Los Angeles tonight. We'll try and be a little more specific when we come back with our final thoughts on Monday Night Matchup right after this. Weeks ago, he has turned in 2 outstanding performances against the 49ers and the Cardinals. Allie, all of a sudden, he looks like a polished quarterback.
Absolutely. And you know, tonight's game, Chris, is going to show how far Dieter Brock and the pass offense has come. The Raiders present an acid test. They present an acid test to anybody in their pass offense for 2 reasons. 1, they're very strong pass rush, and 2, an outstanding secondary that's veteran and really competent. What's going to happen tonight is John Robinson receives a mixed blessing. He'd love to win, but if he loses, he will also find out, do I have a pass offense? Can I go into the playoffs with it, or should I look around and see where I can help Dickerson and his running game?
A lot of civic pride on the line tonight, too. The Tangle of Tinseltown, Steve. It's the Battle of Hollywood.
That's right, Chris. The winners get a date with Joan Collins, and the losers have to read one of her sister's books. And I think the losers will be the Rams. Their offensive line has just been out of sync all season, and tonight they'll be matched up against, in my opinion, the toughest defensive line in the NFL. With Howie Long, Bill Pickel, and Greg Townsend, the Raiders have the men up front to snuff out the run and penetrate the passing pocket.
Those are realistic reasons, and I agree with those reasons, Steve. And also, I believe, on offense. I think tonight, even if the Rams stop Marcus Allen a little, there's one thing they can't stop him on. You're going to see Marcus Allen catch a lot of footballs tonight in the passing game. And I think that, along with the defensive points that Steve just made, I pick the Raiders, too. I pick them 23-14.
Well, they always told us to cover all bases, but we're just going to leave third base unattended, I guess, because I like the Raiders also. They're the kings of Monday Night Football, and you know Al Davis wants a win in Los Angeles over the Rams. I like the Raiders 27-17. We'd like to thank you for watching us this year on Monday Night Matchup, our second year. We hope we've helped you appreciate the football game that you watch after this show.